The violin is the smallest and therefore highest pitched string instrument that is regularly used. A violin has 4 strings, each one tuned a perfect fifth above the last, G, D, A, and E. The body, not including the neck, is usually 35.6 centimeters long, although some of the earliest built examples were slightly smaller. Number 12. The violin is normally played by either drawing a bow over the strings or alternatively plucking notes. The term for the former is arco, whilst the latter is known as pizzicato. Number 13. The earliest examples of the violin date back to the 16th century Italy, and the nature of the instruments has changed very little since then, although one can nowadays buy electric violins which have a very different type of sound. Perhaps the most important invention that is comparatively recent is the chin rest, invented in the early 19th century, meaning that violins were played for almost 200 years without them. The chin rest essentially gives additional stability to the instrument, meaning control and balance is not lost when shifting fingering positions. Number 14. In a modern orchestra, there are 2 sections of violins, known as first violins and second violins. The former section usually consists of 16 individuals and the latter 14. The principal first violin is also known as the leader, or in some countries, the concertmaster, and is not only the head of the string section but also second in command behind the conductor of the entire orchestra. Number 15. Viola. The viola is the middle voice of the string section. It looks very similar to the violin, but with a larger size, 40 centimeters compared to 35.6 centimeters. This gives the instrument a pitch range 1/5 lower than the violin, meaning its open strings are C, D, G, and A. There is usually just one viola section consisting of 12 instruments. Number 16. One interesting thing about the viola is that music is written for it in the alto clef, very rarely used elsewhere, the most common being the treble and bass clefs. However, when there are long sections to be played in the instrument's higher register, these are often notated in the treble clef to make it easier for the performer to read. Number 17. As with everything about the orchestra, there are variations to the rules above. For instance, larger violas have been made, with a 48 centimeters long version being constructed for use in Wagner's operas. Additionally, even classical era composers bent the rules. Mozart himself specified in one piece, Sinfonia Concertante for the violin, viola, and orchestra in E flat, that the solo viola strings were to be tuned a semitone higher than normal, and wrote the music in a correspondingly semitone lower key. Academics believe that this was to give that particular instrument a slightly brighter note than normal, so it could be clearly heard among other instruments used. Number 18. The bow of the viola is wider and heavier than that of the violin. Whilst the latter is most often somewhere between 58 and 61 grams, the former usually weighs in between 70 and 74. Number 19. A bow is held around a part known as a frog or heel. This part can be finely adjusted by a screw, which moves it a tiny amount up or down the bow, resulting in a change of tension in the bow's hairs. This allows the player to get the exact tension required for perfect playing. The hairs of a bow are regularly coated with something known as rosin, a solid form of a resin obtained from conifer trees, which, when the hair is at the optimum tension, provides the perfect amount of friction to generate a stable wave in the string. Number 20. In the majority of orchestral performances, you will see the violins and violas will of course be seated, except in the case the piece includes a soloist, in which case they will be standing, away from the 2 sections. However, this was not always the case, especially in Baroque times, when these 2 instruments would always be played standing up. Therefore, for historical accuracy, the violins and violas of some orchestras will actually stand up whilst playing pieces from the Baroque era. Chapter 3. Woodwind, Part 1. Number 21. When breaking down instruments into
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.